let's get right to it. The Chicago Bulls have won their second three-peat. This is the kind of stuff that ESPN will eventually make a documentary about. They'll call it something like The Last Dance and make it a 10-part series and release it in the year 2020. It's going to be lit. You don't even know what that means yet. While I'm making predictions, jeans will get extra tight. There'll be a thing called a butt fumble, and this clip will be used to promote the documentary in a State Farm commercial.
Dennis, it's great to have you with us. I want to dive right into it and talk about this docu-series. With the Jerry Krause issue specifically, because obviously Scottie Pippen, a big storyline these first two episodes, same with Jerry Krause. Do you think, in your opinion, having a personal relationship, he should be remembered more for building the Bulls dynasty or tearing it down?
It's a difficult thing, Molly. When Phil Jackson, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan asked me to come to Jerry Krause's house and asked me, did I want to join the Chicago Bulls? And I said, I don't give a damn. I had to go I had to go apologize to Scottie, which it was right or wrong. But pretty much after that all happened, the team formed with me and Michael, Scottie, and MJ. So I think that Jerry Krause, I was there those 3 years, and wow, it was something, Molly. It was something. I never heard anything like that. I never seen nothing like that before. And I never really got into the politics of it. But I guess I never asked Mike or Scottie, what is the reason why you guys are so bitter towards the management?
The fact that this Bulls team, the best American sports team of my life, won 6 titles with all the chaos with the front office. They were fighting their front office. I already had a reservoir of respect for Phil Jackson. He is balancing a GM that resents some players that resent the owner, Jerry Reinsdorf, which I told you last week is the cheap guy, the baseball-loving cheap guy. He won't give Scottie Pippen a new deal. I just couldn't live with myself. MJ carried the league, and halfway through it, he wasn't being paid. He was carrying the whole league, forget the Bulls. It's just remarkable how Phil Jackson and MJ's focus and Phil's just moxie and intelligence could balance what was a chaotic mess. Virtually every dynasty of my life has great ownership or great management. Now, people like me, 40s and 50s, who grew up with the Bulls, have always known the Michael story is not linear. He didn't win without Phil Jackson, and he didn't win without Scottie Pippen. He was just unbelievable. But now a lot of the mythology, you can all acknowledge now, the 20 and 30-year-olds who didn't see it live, Michael didn't do anything without Pippen and Phil Jackson. And you can think two thoughts simultaneously. You can think with one side of your brain, Michael's the best ever, and then think, but he didn't win squat without Pippen and Phil Jackson.
We learned so much along the way. I honestly couldn't look away, but one of the big takeaways was we learned that even if the Bulls were to go 82-0 in the 1997-98 season, Jerry Krause was not going to bring Phil Jackson back as head coach either way. So, Shannon, let's get right to it. What was your biggest takeaway?
My biggest takeaway, Skip, was the hatred, the vitriol that Michael Jordan and so many of his teammates had towards Jerry Krause. But Skip, Jerry Krause bears a lot of responsibility for ultimately breaking this team up. But the ultimate responsibility goes to Jerry Reinsdorf, because just like he got on a plane and took his butt to Montana to sign Phil Jackson to a one-year deal, if he wanted to keep this team together, he could have. So although Jerry Krause gets blamed, deserves some of the blame, Jerry Reinsdorf could have kept this team together. If Jerry Reinsdorf, Skip, he was the majority owner of the team. Yes, he bestowed a lot of power on Jerry Krause. Yes, he let him trade players and trade up in the draft and release players. He let him do all that. But you know one thing, Skip Bayless, having been around this game for a long period of time, when you're dealing with those high level of players and you're moving up and down in the draft, you run everything by the owner. And he ran that by the owner. And trying to trade Scottie Pippen, they entertained that. But I think they thought that, if we go this far, Jordan might walk a season earlier. But nobody will ever have that kind of cachet. Skip, nothing like this. There'll never be another team. Because if you think about it, Skip, there have been teams that had the top two stars were bigger than Scottie was the second star. But if you look at Shaq, Kobe, and you look at Durant, and you look at, say, Steph Curry and what they possess, but they didn't care like this is, Skip. I mean, look, the Eagles are unbelievable, but they're not the Rolling Stones. And Skip, and that's no disrespect to Eagles fans out there, but it's just different. They were different, and they did this, Skip, 15, 20 years before social media. So can you imagine maybe the scrutiny would have gotten to them and maybe we'd have learned some things we didn't need to know. But, Skip, I've never seen anything like this.